because there's not enough of anything pinching going on. This one's not bad, but my gut tells me that maybe this one would be really good because this is ugly down here. This is closed off, right? This is completely closed off. So you're not going to get a ton of water pushing this way, okay? Here, again, so if you're not going to a ton of water pushing this way, you might not have a ton pushing of this, but I can see that there's a little cut through here, okay? Now this, though, this is really angled this way versus this, which is like a block. I know it's getting ugly. I'm sorry. So now I'm starting to think, okay, well, maybe there is some water movement through here, okay? This is more of a channel than you find either of these places. So this might have a really nice outflow right here, okay? And in fact, this, different color, let's use a different color. This might be a really productive area right here because you've got this fast moving water that's coming down this semi-trough, this little cut sort of, okay? And you've got the fish that are coming in and accessing it through the deeper water that are running along the edge out here, okay? So that's how you're using bowls. Okay, let's see here. But bowls aren't always in. They can be out too. Hard things to see. Generally, they don't become visible even at low tides. But in this particular case, okay, forget scale for a second. This is sort of an outer bowl, okay? You can see that this is not really a bar. It kind of does this, right? And it closes, like it really closes in right here. It ends right here. Kind of hooks in because then this is all the same. So you've got these outer bowls that face out, right? And even this over here, this is sort of, looks to me like it's all shallow. So then you've got this other one, which may actually be more like a bar that runs like this. So then, is this the end of a trough? I don't know. It depends. But this sort of looks like an outer bowl too. But this certainly is an outer facing bowl. Now, something to look for when you find an outer facing bowl, and the way I like to approach them almost all the time, is I find that they have the deep edge out by the bar, okay? That's not always true with bars and troughs. There's obviously like a change in depth from the bar into the trough, but it doesn't always mean that there's like a really sharp edge right on there, okay? It can like taper down or drop off a foot and then continue to taper into the trough. With reverse bowls, it's almost always a stratification of shallower to deepest, right up to the edge of that trough, okay? So in these situations, I really like to put my lure right on the bar and pull it into the water. Pull it into the water. Idiot. Pull it into the deeper water. Number one way that I tackle those. So when we're looking at this then, okay, we're going to go back to this. This is a little bit different image, but we go back to this. Okay, we look at this trough. This is a very interesting little piece of structure, and there's a few things going on here that I want to point out, okay, where I would fish and why, and things I can tell you, okay? The first and maybe the most important thing for all of you to take away from this is I can tell you, looking at this, which direction and which tide I would choose to fish right away. Almost certainly, because I'm most concerned, again, with lateral movement of water and the strongest current, okay? So whatever tide goes this way, that's the one I want to fish. Why? Because all of these cuts angle this way, which that one's not perfect, but these are straight. These are straighter, but they're still slightly angled this way. This one's pretty much straight out, right? When you see that, okay, the direction that points, that's the way the current is moving. Okay, that's just the way it works. Those are the physics of it. And because they all lean that way, that's the strongest current. The current in the opposite direction is not enough to push the